Welcome back to Afternoon Express. Now, this past weekend saw some of the most talented fashion designers on the continent come together in the name of artistic expression. It was South African Menswear Week, the only platform dedicated to the development of men's fashion within Africa. And the focus was on all things autumn-winter for 2017. Myself and Jeannie were there to preview what the next season has in store. And in case you missed it, we have you covered. Our Fashion Week coverage starts now. Danilo Cristo here. Myself and Jeannie have been exploring SA Menswear Week, the only fashion week on the continent of Africa solely devoted to menswear. We're celebrating autumn-winter 2017 and we've got the best picks of the year.
Mzukisi, since we had you on our couch on Afternoon Express a couple of months ago, it looks like you've been a very, very busy man. Congratulations on this collection.
Thank you. The collection is titled I Couldn't Be Bothered. I created a story where I took this Ndebele boy who decided to travel the world, explore what's out there. He decided that the laws that are put on how a man is supposed to look do not apply to him, so he couldn't be bothered. So that's how the whole attitude had this, I don't care, but at the same time very connected to what an African is about.
Obviously, a lot of the world is looking at South Africa. Everyone always says that about us, and I think it's amazing. I think there's some incredible young designers in South Africa. Because the country has come through such a torturous past, a lot of people are trying to express themselves and have their voices heard. And a lot of that happens through creativity.
The globe has opened up their doors to the sort of African prints. I mean, all of us are trying to incorporate some of those colors, those schemes, those patterns and designs. This year, however, we've kind of moved more towards West Africa in the way that we've incorporated those themes. That's a really interesting space for menswear to be in.
Absolutely. I think we'll always see some sort of African influence in the prints that are shown at Fashion Weeks. What I found quite interesting tonight especially is that those very bold reds and emerald greens were mixed with prints as well. So there's a bit of patchwork going on, a lot of weaving, wools. Yeah, the textures are unbelievable, and I think it's really exciting.
West African men were peacocks, so we love clothes. A very flamboyant set of individuals we are. I think we spend more time on ourselves than actually our women. West African men. So I'm inspired by simplicity meets edge. That's pretty much the brand's philosophy. I always like to do something classic but give it a new twist.
With a name like a Diva, you're expecting an incredible range tonight. It looked so amazing. Androgyny this year.
Yes, yeah. So it was like a transgression. We wanted to almost evolve the man. I don't know why there's such a big definition between clothing for gender. And I think that's essentially, it doesn't make sense. So why can't a woman and a man wear the same thing?
I think the world is accepting a big difference lately with regards to people relating to a different sex or no sex at all. So the designers are offering something where people can feel comfortable, whether they're male or female or asexual. It doesn't really matter who you are. People are happy to really bring something for everyone.
We want to try and unite people at the moment in 2017, and we've kind of done that with fashion at the moment. I've seen it on the ramp. Androgyny was one of the key words that popped up last year. This year I'm going to call it fluidity, and it's something that you like to incorporate into your styles too. So tell us about this fluidity when it comes to menswear.
To be honest, I didn't think about it because I don't like thinking of men as gender and all those things I just make for a human being. And that's it. And that's why it would look fluid, I think, because that's the approach. That's the approach I use when I make my menswear and my women's wear. Most of the time, people say the women's wear is masculine and the menswear is feminine. So
if it's beautiful, and no one's gonna mind.
Yeah, that's it.
So Nick, from a fashion editor's perspective, what should we take from the ramps at Menswear Week this year?
Really, really exciting stuff. This was my first South African Fashion Week, so I didn't really have a precedent, nothing to judge it against, but I'm overwhelmed, actually. There was a ton of stuff that I was really impressed by, particularly the streetwear. We're used to seeing streetwear, but in this respect, it was all about texture and color and pattern. No one was shying away from sort of excess. Excess is in, and it really, really worked.
There's a lot of sort of West African design in here. We spoke about androgyny here. We spoke about loosely fitted fabrics as well as a bit of that tailoring. What should be the key tips that men are taking from Fashion Week this year?
I think that tailoring isn't as sort of stuffy and conventional as some people think. You know, there really is a modern way to do tailoring that actually works for the younger guys, for the guys sort of on the streets and into that sort of aesthetic. You know, it's all about sort of widening the pant as opposed to bringing it in, but still using luxe fabrics and high-grade quality. It's all about really premium, well-made pieces because you can really tell when it's not, and most of these guys know what they're doing.
And just like that, Menswear Week draws to a close. We've seen some of the best here tonight. But what's so exciting to see is that the African fashion scene is in such safe hands. We'll see you at the next Menswear Week.